You often hear Democrats talking about how Republicans are banning books, but what books are those, and more importantly, what's in them that people are finding offensive? Today, I'm in Philadelphia at the Moms for Liberty Summit to find out. Let's go talk to some people. This is called Trans Bodies, Trans Selves, referring to transgenderism. And in this book, this is a photo right here. These are blurred out, but these are little, model penises, basically. And then this is a seemingly naked transgender individual in the book. Actually, in the book, okay, and you can either agree with this or disagree with this, instructs youth on how to find and make pornography in this book, okay? There's photos of naked individuals that are trans.
They're not in my school library and they're not in my public library.
So we have no problem with these being removed from school libraries, is that correct?
It's not an issue. I'm not interested in it.
There's this minor that got a new fun sex toy, and I apologize for the graphic footage, but I do want to show you someone performing oral sex. Should this be available for middle schoolers?
Middle schools, I would go along with middle school, but not elementary.
You would go middle school?
Yeah.
If you're talking about middle school and, kids are curious, I think it's perfectly appropriate. There's no way I'd ever call that book pornography.
Okay.
I've read it.
So you think maybe middle schoolers, maybe they're 11 years old, should they be seeing how to blow a on?
No, I don't. No.
No? So you changing your mind on this?
Yeah,
Or
changed my mind. Middle schools, what ages are they?
middle school would be like 11 to 14?
14. Oh, no, high school.
High school then?
Yeah.
You should feel safe sending your children to school. This is not safe. This is not safe for children to see.
This is pornographic. Pornography can exist in images, it can be cartoon and illustration animation, and it can also be in explicit texts. And so having graphic literature and content is not appropriate for schools.
When I was a young man, which was many, many years ago, we had Playboy. We learned it through Playboy.
Did you have it in school?
I'm sorry. How is this different?
Did you have it in school?
No, we did not have it in school. But
That would that would be how it's different.
But now, I think what is different about it, it's realization that kids have sexuality and are waking up to it, and it's better that they be educated about it by professionals, by people who can screen those books in the schools, make like the librarian, and make determinations who it's appropriate for and where it'll be.
The kids need to have resources to help them through the difficult period of time in their lives.
Correct.
And censoring these books is not helpful.
Parents' rights, there are children's rights.
Only go so far?
Yeah, they only go so far. It's up to the professionals who know what kids go through, and like parents want to be blind to what their kids might be going through.
They're my kids. They're not yours.
That's right.
I will have those appropriate conversations about people that think they have a different gender or a different, sexual preference. We'll have those discussions as I see fit. It is not, again, like Joe Biden said, they're not his children, they're our children. And so it's our responsibility to have those conversations.
I don't want my 11-year-old daughter to have to read about sexuality right now. She already has so many questions. I come from two mothers. My mother is gay. She's married to another woman for 30 years, and I don't agree with it. No matter what my feelings are about anything else. Love is love, and I am a biracial woman, but I do not feel that she is at a point where she can make a decision in her life of her sexuality.
Children do not possess the typical capacity to process this information. This is incredibly explicit. So I would say it does not belong in middle school or in K through 12. I think those kinds of things are just not educational. Schools don't exist to teach sexual technique.
I think we've weaponized empathy, and we've found another victim class of transgender people, however you want to define it. But there are people out there that claim to be transgender, claim to be oppressed, and so we've weaponized empathy. So anything that shows to be in support of transgender people is something that they want to push, and they ignore everything else around it. But when you put stuff like that in front of their face, they can't explain it. All they know is that love is love, and we're supposed to support everything, and let's be inclusive. but we're not inclusive of everything in life. We have some sort of limitations. And I always feel like when it comes to children, you err on the side of caution.
I personally think that this material, it reduces a child's boundaries, their personal boundaries. It's teaching them consent, which sounds really great, but consent to a minor, consent to a middle schooler, to a fifth grader is defined as how to give permission. So they're actually teaching kids, instead of how they used to, how to say no, how to have healthy boundaries, how to protect yourself. They're actually teaching kids how to say yes to sex, and they're doing role-playing negotiation activities in the classrooms. So some of these books are to motivate and to provide a new value system, to replace the former with the new.
Honestly, I didn't think it was a limitation we had to even talk about. It just seems pretty common sense to me, but common sense is right-wing and fascist these days. So.